Okay. Hello, everyone, and a very good evening to our amazing panel of speakers and our moderator of our forum. I am Dr. Indrani, President of SICB, Soroptimist International Club of... Oh, there's an echo. Maybe we can have everybody to mute their mics and then it'll be better. It gives me great pleasure to see so many participants who have joined, and you can be rest assured that you are going to have a wonderful time during the next 1 to 1.25 hours. Our words can change the whole world because we are all together. Over the years, more and more people have joined the movement of gender equality. So what better way to celebrate International Women's Day than through the voices, the strength, and the conviction. Thus, Soroptimist International Club of Bangsar, with the Sathya National Organization, had decided to put up this forum where we have 3 esteemed speakers who have agreed to share their most inspiring experience in favor of gender equality on the occasion of the International Women's Day 2022, which falls on 8th of March, which this year our team carries the this year our team is Break the Bias hashtag and calls on people to work towards a world that is equitable, inclusive, and free from bias and discrimination, so that the playing field is leveled for women moving forward. Before I end my speech, I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one in both SICB and SSIO subcommittee who have worked tirelessly to put together this event. Again, a big thank you to the speakers. It gives me great pleasure now to introduce our moderator, Ms. Doreen Ong, who started her career as an audit assistant with an international accounting firm. She qualified as a chartered accountant after having a second son, studying law while going through a divorce, and later obtained a diploma in international advertising when she was a finance director of an advertising multinational firm. Her last professional designation before retirement was Director of Finance of an IT multinational company. She brought up 2 sons as a divorced mom and is now a happy grandma with 2 grandchildren running her own family business. She is currently the stateside Chinese Affairs Coordinator and the Assistant Honorary Secretary of Sathya International Organization, Malaysia, and for 40 years have been appointed into many honorary positions and committees of various professional institutions, voluntary services, of voluntary service organizations and NGO. She has also traveled widely in the course of her career, business, and voluntary service and spiritual activities. Now, I shall invite Ms. Doreen Ong to take over the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Indrani, for introducing me. And thank you for coming up with the idea for a forum, which we have invited several esteemed speakers. We are so glad to be able to be together here today. And this evening, I am very excited and very happy to have with us a panel of 3 speakers who are ladies in their individual right, who has come up very high in their profession. And not only that, they were in professions which were male-dominated professions. Can you hear me well? Okay, so now, before we start, I'd just like to give a brief introduction of our 3 speakers. Now, our 3 speakers, they are currently, they have achieved a lot in their individual profession. And I'm so proud to be able to, feel very honored to be here to introduce them. And when I was having a conversation with them, I felt that I was among giants, yeah. And so our 3 speakers are Miss Kesava Vardini Krishnan, and Miss Shanti Kanta Swami, and Lieutenant Kumada. In fact, Lieutenant Kumada is coming in today with us, and she's based in Lebanon right now. So I really, you must give a virtual applause to all these 3 ladies who have, agreed to join us for this International Women's Day Forum today. So without further ado, our first speaker, we call her Kesha, okay? Kesha is an experienced full-time occupational health and safety practitioner in the oil and gas industry for the last 10 years, yeah? And she started her career as a merchant seafarer, sailing across, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it correctly, forgive me if I don't. And she started as, in her career, sailing across the seas worldwide on large crude oil tankers after obtaining her seagoing license from Malaysia Marine Department and a diploma, and she had a diploma in nautical studies from the Malaysia Maritime Academy. And after many years of sailing, she decided to pursue her studies in occupational health and safety leadership and obtain her master's degree from the University of Nottingham. And while she was working as a full-time safety practitioner. Currently, she works for a prominent ship management vessel organization, full-time, and which manages many offshore vessels. And also she has been involved with health and safety as a health and safety practitioner, and she's certified by NIBOSH International. So over to you, Kesha. Please welcome Kesha.
Hi, thank you, Miss Doreen. Thank you. And also thank you, Soroptimist, for actually calling upon me to speak on this forum on international, in conjunction with International Women's Day. Right, so before we do, of course, I would like to wish everyone here a happy International Women's Day. And of course, as women, there's a lot of things that everyone is achieving. Okay, and once again, happy International Women's Day. All right, so first of all, of course, many of you guys would, want to know how I ended up in this career. All right. So of course, after SPM, as everyone, I was looking to go into university, and something came up in my way, which was totally different, something which I didn't even expect, I would say. Okay, and no one even knows that I've actually applied for this. And to be honest, I applied for this cadetship program without knowing what is that all about in the first place. Okay, because after SPM, we just apply for everything that comes along our way. And fortunately, I got into, I would say, and of course, when I went into this career that I chose, my mom was a bit skeptical about this, because it was no one in my family has actually gone into this. So I'm the first one. And same with but of course my father was he was very encouraging. So he said, okay, go for it. And of course, along the way, and both of my parents have actually given me all the support to actually excel in this particular industry, in this career, right? So after I finished my cadetship and then we went on board, I got my license from Malaysia Marine Department, and then I sailed on large crude oil tankers. And it was, again, I was very lucky that I got into crude oil tankers, which many do not go into it. Okay, so just to, share on the ships that I've sailed on. So this was one of the vessel that I've sailed on. So this is about 250 meters. So when we talk about 250 meters in length, we are talking about double the size of a football field. Okay, and also this is one of my ships when we are passing through the Suez Canal, right? So of course, in my life, I never thought of I will be going to such places. Of course, when I sail, it took me up to sail throughout the world. I sail most of the deep oceans, and of course, I've traveled to places which was not even in my travel list. Like example, like Aruba, Caribbean islands, Bermuda Islands, Mexico, Venezuela. I don't think so any of us have this in our travel list that we want to go, right? So I've actually went there. And when I was 19, my first ship was from New York. So of course I signed on at New York, and then we went all the way to Europe and go and forth carrying crude oils on ship. So it was the experience for me, which I cannot share it, how I feel about it. And it is, I would say, I'm lucky lah, all right? So when we talk about challenges, okay, going to the challenges that we face, of course, it's conventionally, it's a men's world, but currently they have changed the term. Okay, previously everyone heard it as a seaman, right? Seaman, it's a man's career, but now we call it upon as a seafarer. Okay, so the UN, United Nations, they have actually changed it from seaman to seafarer because they want a lot of women's participation in this industry. All right, so that's why I'm called as a merchant seafarer. All right. Second thing, when I chose this career, when people got to know that I'm working on ship, the first question I got was, so do you work in the kitchen? So do you cook? So of course, no, we don't we don't do that. So people don't understand. So that kind of stereotyping is there, whereby people feel that female, you go on board, you do household kind of work, which we do not. So we run the ship. If you ask me, I have self-driven the ship, navigate the ship from one place to another. Okay, we took turns, we take shifts, and we bring the ship until it reaches to the location safely, to the port. Okay, and of course, another challenge I would say working on board is, of course, it's a male-dominated industry whereby 99% is male. But of course, we would definitely want to show all female can do it. If male can do it, of course, female can do it. So the respect is earned from what you show. Okay, the respect is earned from what we know. So I always try to equip myself with the knowledge about shipping, about industry, about ships. Even when I was sailing, even till to date, I'm still in the industry. I'm still working in maritime industry. So every now and then, I always try to update myself. What is the new changes, what is the new thing coming up on, what is happening in the industry. So that is one of the things that I would highlight, is that always keep ourselves equipped with knowledge. So that is the most important thing if you want to excel in this particular career. All right. And of course, many stereotype this as a male career, male industry, but I would say that most of my colleagues who I work with is male till to date, and they definitely help me to grow where I am today. So gender, when we talk about gender equality, of course, everyone fights for their rights. Okay, everyone wants to be known, everyone wants to be there, and if we want to get there, you have to work hard towards it. So hard work never fails, and it doesn't mean whether you are a male or female. Okay, when we work hard, when we want to achieve something, then we definitely can be there, right? So going back to our gender equality, so of course, working on board has been challenging and fun for me at the same time. And every day has been a learning day. So there's a new hope, new beginning. So one of my challenges, I would say, when I was working on board is, let me show you guys a picture. Right, so this was when we were sailing to Winfernate, Canada, which is closer to the Greenland. So the entire ship is actually frozen, you can see. All right, so it's frozen, the sea is frozen. All right, so all our machineries are frozen. And bear in mind that these are all cargo pipelines. So we couldn't use any machines or any high water jets to break it off. So this is me who is, breaking the ice using hammers. All right. So it was very challenging. So the extreme temperatures were, I would say, challenging. So a person who have never seen snow before going on board the ship, I've actually seen ice. Right. So it is truly I got to be very lucky to be in this profession. All right. And like what I say, when you fear something, you can't achieve what you want. So actually, fear is just nothing. I would say it's just a piece of imagination of you, right? So if you believe in yourself, and we have strong determination, and of course, nothing is unachievable. And before I, end my sharing today, I would definitely thank for everyone who has been along till to date along in my professional career, my family, my husband, my in-laws, my friends, everyone in the industry who have actually supported me. And most of them, to be honest, most of them are male, but thank you very much. And thank you very much, Soroptimist, for bringing up this. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Keisha. That
Thank
was
you,
such a nice and short, sweet sharing,
Thank you.
And yes, we can't imagine how you would have felt on that tanker when it was all frozen.
Yeah,
but
correct.
it's one of the challenges when, every profession has its hazards and challenges. Yeah.
Correct.
And so you sailed through. Thank you.
Yeah.
So our next speaker is a lady who is a very courageous lady, I should say. Yeah, because what happened was she trained as an engineer, but when she came back to Malaysia in 1988, it was a bad time for the economy. So there was an economic crisis at that time. I remember this crisis too. And so at that time, MAS Engineering opened their engineering training for qualified graduates. And Shanti was fortunate to secure a place. And so she became the first female to be trained for active aircraft maintenance. Yeah. So in an all-male environment, how did she cope? Shanti will speak about all her challenges. Not all, but some of her challenges, life lessons, joys, and growths in a male-dominated environment. Now, before we go further, I forgot, I was so excited to start this program, I forgot about the house rules. So one of the house rules is, kindly all participants, please keep your mic muted. And if you want to on your video, please you would like to see you as well. But if not, if you off it, at the end of it, we would like to see your face also, especially when you ask questions. So without further ado, let us welcome Shanti. Over to you, Shanti.
Hi, thank you, Doreen. And thank you to Soroptimist and the Sathya organization for inviting me. This is really, really an honor. And I've, as I became my age, you know, I'm already on the sunset side of things. I have slowly started feeling that I have a story and I should share it, because more and more I found that the conversation about gender equality, how to cope and things like that was being spoken about more and more. And I felt that sharing my stories, sharing my experiences in a male-dominated environment may actually help people if they actually go about trying to make this decision. So thank you so much for actually inviting me here. As Doreen said, I came back in 1988. When I came back in 1988, there was really a lot of engineers who were out of work, so MAS opened it up to, for MAS engineering, you cannot come in as an engineer unless it's technical services, and there's only limited places there. So they opened up for graduates to actually train them into maintenance. So I came back as a graduate engineer and I joined as an apprentice. My starting.
Recording.
Shanti, we have lost her. Yes,
We have lost you,
yeah,
Shanti.
Gandala, just hold on a minute. We are trying to solve the technical issue here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is siaran tergendala here. Just kindly be patient for a little while. We are trying to get back Shanti to be on the line. Now, if anyone has any questions, perhaps you'd like to post it in the chat group, and we'll try to answer it at the end when we have the Q&A.
Can you all see me?
Shanti, we can hear you. Are you back?
Can you see
We
me?
can hear you.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
This is Fate, right? And I actually, my laptop just went into
Can see you,
trading
can
mode.
hear you well. Yeah.
Okay, so I will use my phone and I shall speak to you,
Yeah.
to all of you. Yeah.
Welcome back.
So when I came in, there was a lot of economic upheaval, and so they took in a lot of graduates. One of my classmates who came in actually was working as a lumberjack in Kelantan. So so a lot of us came in, and I came in. I was lucky. The moment I came back, I got this and I joined. When I joined, it was a batch of about 30 odd people, and they were wanting to take either for the workshop or for the maintenance side. That was the first time I actually faced a kind of gender inequality in the management of it, because everybody was asked, do you want to actually go into the workshop or do you want to go to the base maintenance? Put in your preference. But Shanti was told, oh no, you cannot handle the maintenance. You will be put into the workshop. So I didn't have a choice. They put me to train for the workshop. Shortly after that, after 2 years of training to join the workshop, I was the opportunity to apply to go into non-destructive testing came about, and I applied. So when I applied to go into a non-destructive testing, there were a lot of people actually came to me and said, oh no, it is active work on the aircraft. You have to crawl all over the place. You'll be working with radiation. It's unsafe. I had a lot of negative talk that came my way, but I thought it's an opportunity. It was a higher grade. So I just applied. And I was very fortunate to have managers and heads of department who thought that, yes, we shouldn't hold it against her to be as being a female. And I actually went into non-destructive testing. So what is non-destructive testing? It's actually active work on the aircraft maintenance, but we test the aircraft for cracks, corrosion, and all these kind of things without harming the aircraft in any way. That's why it's called non-destructive testing. So that means you have to crawl to the minutest places. You know, I've crawled through the fuel tank panel, I've crawled through the horizontal stabilizer, I've been on the aircraft, I've climbed scaffolding. A lot of the times, you know, when I joined MAS, in the house, a ladder, I couldn't even climb the second rung of a ladder. I was too scared. But when I went to MAS, that was one of the things I had to overcome. We climbed scaffolding, we 2-story high, we are working on the aircraft. All this was made possible because I had a lot of support. The people I worked with were very supportive. I was in an all-male industry. I was the first female to actually go in there. I think the biggest challenge I found that there was not conveniently placed women's toilet in every floor and numerous enough as there were male toilets. Other than that, I was so fortunate that every person who was actually surrounding me, all the males were very supportive. So this is the message I actually want to get out there, that they are supportive, and very often you would find that people do not truly have a gender bias. If they do have a gender bias, and this I found, and I actually lived through it and came out the other side too. If they do have a gender bias, it's because they genuinely feel that the female may not be able to cope. And they actually do not want to put somebody in a position where they end up finding it difficult to cope. So I after that, actually, in non-destructive testing, we had about 15 of us. So we were very close-knit group. It was like a family. They mind their P's and Q's. They didn't swear. They didn't do all these things for 1 week. After that, they just became normal. And I also became very normal with all of them. And I was in non-destructive testing for about almost 19 years before I went on for 6 years in commercial engineering, selling of engineering aircraft sales and services, before I left MAS in 2015. So I had photographs, typical photographs of aircraft maintenance actually to show all of you, but I'm unable to do so because my laptop went on a blink and I had to come in through my phone, so I'm unable to show you photographs. But yes, that was actually how I went into the male-dominated industry and survived. One of the things I have to say is that, did I face some gender bias? Yes, I did. But it was on specific individuals. I know that there was one person, one manager, who actually felt that females should not be in active engineering. It's really not for females. During the time he was in the position of determining who was taken in for the engineering training, while he was in charge, there were no other females being taken. After he left, a whole lot of females actually were taken in. And I'm very happy to say now the MAS engineering environment, there is a lot of females. The last time, just a few months ago, one of my friends from MAS told that they walked into the hangar and said, we need a specialist engineer who can go in and solve this particular problem in apron side, because they're having that problem and all the engineers there could not solve it. And they said, oh, the specialist is a female. They call the female, she goes there, 10 minutes later, she comes back, it's solved. So they are making their stand. They are becoming very much a part of the maintenance field, and the aviation maintenance has shifted a lot. But when I joined Malaysian aviation industry in 1988, I was the first girl, and it was loads of fun. So to all the males who supported me, thank you very much. And one of the things that I had is I had all the females cheering me on because they were hugely proud of the fact that I had actually gone there and I was surviving and thriving. So I had the males supporting me and the females cheering me on. So it was actually a really great experience. I will tell everybody to actually do something like that. It was great. I can't see the chat. I'm not very good at this on the phone. So if y'all have any questions, if somebody can ask me if anything has been put on the chat, I would answer it.
Yeah, we will have Q&A at the end of this session. Thank you so much, Shanti. You're really truly a superwoman. You're an iron lady. You know, really good. It's wonderful to hear that what women can do. You know. And I can relate to some of the things you mentioned, because earlier on in my profession, there were not many ladies, you know, in at that time. And I can remember when I had to go on board, you know, ship, go on board, you know, all kinds of instances, even sent to rubber estates, all kinds of situations, you know. So it was very interesting for us ladies actually to venture in the various different professions. Now, our third and final speaker is even more courageous, because right now she's in Lebanon, yeah. And right now, she's a peacekeeper as part of the armed forces based in Lebanon. So Lieutenant Kumata Vijayan has been serving us, yeah, as in the Army Service Branch. And she's right now based on a 1-year tour of duty in Lebanon. She completed her degree in communication at University Selangor, graduating at the top of her class. And she enlisted in 2018, she enlisted under the Special Enrollment Entry Program of the Armed Forces. And she attended a basic and advanced training for young officers. She went through also the operational and media course at the Malaysian Armed Forces Intelligence College to become a public relation officer. Yeah. And during her military career, she had served in the Ministry of Defense as a staff officer, yeah, and as a staff officer for the Minister of Defense and Chief of Army. She also is adept at planning and executing a commander's communication strategy to corporate communication, media, and she also in also various community outreach activities, yeah, and she is currently serving as a peacekeeper in the Malaysian contingent. They make up 10% of the deployed uniformed personnel there, and so it's truly amazing that she is able to do what she's doing. And so women have increasingly become part of the peacekeeping family in making all such operations more effective. So, Kumada, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, over to you.
I'm here.
Thank you for joining us today. Yes, please carry on.
Miss Doreen. Thank you, Miss Doreen. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Soroptimist International Club of Bangsar and Sathya International Organization for giving me this opportunity. And okay, when we talk about military and female, So, you know, when we talk about military, we will think about men. There will be a less female in the military forces, in the armed forces. So I was joined in the military when I was, after I finished my degree, I've joined in the military on 2018. I have commissioned on the 2019. And now I am here in the Malaysian peacekeeping, in the Malaysian Battalion 850-9. So as a female peacekeeper, my job is to protect civilian. My job is to protect civilian, to provide security for all the components of peacekeeping operational, to carry out the mandate of UN activities. So Malaysian contingent is the first contingent which bring up a lot of female personnel in this year, which consists of 84 personnel, 10% of the troop. Overall of the troop was 854. So we are 84 personnel of female who joined in this contingent and were deployed on last year, September, to the Lebanon. So we have served in various positions such as in leadership, foot patrol, plan operation, fly helicopters, perform medicals, help clear minefield, engage with local communities, fixing vehicles, serving as a public information officer is what I am doing right now. So these are the jobs that we do day to day in the back country. So I joined in the United Nations since from last year, September 2021. And it is a noble job to help others, to help people at the Lebanon. I have, before I joined this Malaysian peacekeeping, I have motivated myself to join in UN and serve as a female peacekeeper. Because before this, we have a quota system for the females. We don't have, we don't have courageous to join because of due to family, because some of them are married and unable to join. Some of them are not able to join because of the medical. So I felt very proud. And yes, as a woman, we are going forward. We are sort of inspiration to the local women. I always engage with the CIMIC activities where we will engage with the local people in the Lebanon. So whenever they see in the local people, whenever they see military women, they would like, they will feel safer compared to the men in the uniform, because maybe they have a stigma if a man in a uniform do the CIMIC activity compared to the women who are in the uniform. So they see us as inspiration, and the young girls out there, they always cheer to us whenever they see us, or whenever UN vehicles are going through. They will just sit down at the roadside and they just hi. They'll do like that. And I would like to motivate people out there to join in the peacekeeping mission, to render help to people who are in distress. They need our aid. They need our help. So I, as a military officer, I find it really important, challenging, and moreover, it's a holy duty for me. We are not familiar with this terrain, especially this terrain, because here we have a different geographical type of terrain. And we had our training at Malaysia over 5 months. Also, the unrest situation of the country, all these things are a little challenging. So this is what I find is the most prestigious. Really, that this is what we do day and night. I take pride out of it almost every day. The female peacekeeper is a very challenging job. We have to take a long-range mission to border outposts or hill tracks area. Our instructor, colleagues, they support us so well we can take this mission very comfortably. I believe service before self. That's why I took these challenges and come here to serve. So Connie could help me to display the pictures. Connie, are you there?
Yes.
So these are the pictures before I was deployed, and that was my husband during my side. So these are the activities that we have done. For example, a shooting activity. These are the International Women's Day that we just do it recently at UNIFIL headquarters. So all of the contingent female peacekeeper will join to this event. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kumuta. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. You know, I have goosebumps now. Thinking of, the great work you are doing over there in Lebanon. Please send our love and, to all the ladies, the 80-over ladies who are with you. We truly respect what you're doing. And as you said, ladies are very important for the peacekeeping mission, and to also give so much, how do I say, reassurance to the ladies who are there in the community in Lebanon, who come, who engage with you. Thank you so much, Now, before we end, we are going to have I want to pose, I have this question, at the tip of my tongue for each of the speaker, So I'd like to pose my first question to Kesha. Now, Kesha, are you ready?
Yes.
Now, Kesha, I understand you're a mother. You have your husband. You have your husband and a child. Now, could you perhaps share with us, especially during the last 2 years, which was very challenging during this pandemic, and even before the pandemic, how did you handle your spouse or child? Because you had to go, places and do your work. How do you handle them?
Right. So thank you, Doreen, for the question. Actually, yeah. So I'm married, and I have a son who is 4 years old, and with my husband along. So, and the challenging part is that both of us actually travel for work. My husband is not a seafarer, but he do travels for work, and he's an engineer. And of course, pandemic has caused a lot of challenges, not only to me, to many of us. And what we actually do is that I always tell my husband that my career comes first, right? Whatever is it, I would like to excel in my career, and he supports that. And not only my husband, my parents, my in-laws, and everyone supports and what I'm doing. But being as a woman, we need some support system for us to excel. And currently, I'm also working. I'm still in the industry. I don't sail much often, but I do go often to the ships to do inspections and audits, and give orders, and do things on the ship, repairs and all this. And definitely it might take like more than a week sometimes 3 to 4 days. And after I got married and before I had my son, I used to travel almost every week. So, and we only meet during the weekends at times right after I got married. So until I had my son, and it was reduced a bit. So of course, when I had a child and all, and of course I think back and I had to do something. That's why I took my master's, and then I completed when actually I was pregnant when I was doing my master's, but I completed, and I actually finished it in 2020, but due to pandemic, I just graduated last month. So of course, my husband and my parents, everybody supports me in what I do. And one of the things is that when you want to excel in something, when we want to do something, give your 100% effort to it. And when we give our 100% effort and we work towards it, no matter how hard it is, how challenging is it, we will definitely achieve it. For every woman out there, doesn't matter, you don't have to be in this career, you didn't have to be in this industry, any work that we do, always give your 100%. So when we put our hard work in, and people can see, people around us can see that I want this so badly, I want to achieve something. So today I'm in a position where I manage cable lay ships, and my cable lay ships are actually laying fiber optics at Sicb. Now we are talking here, actually they are working somewhere in Japan, Kitakushu. They are actually laying cables, Sicb cables, fiber optic cables, where we receive our 4G and 5G internets.
Wow.
So yeah, so
That's
we
great.
so we are still working, and
That's good.
and we are getting the internets here, and we are talking happily to each other. So I'm very proud to be part of it, that when there is an earthquake and when there is a tsunami, and we are the first person to be afraid of, because it actually damages our cables and it actually disrupts your internet service.
Wow. So
So,
interesting.
yeah,
Wow, my
right.
goodness.
Thank you.
So much we can learn
Thank you
from
very
our
much.
ladies here today, Now I have another question which is to be posed to Shanti. Shanti, are you able to answer this question? Now,
Yes.
what would be your advice to any female teenager or undergraduate who wants to pursue a similar career as yours?
Well, my first advice to them would be that you are choosing a career, you are going into the workplace, right? So you need to remove the narrative about gender in your own head, right? It may be a male dominated industry, or it may be a place where there are more males. It doesn't matter where. It isn't just like in my industry where it was all males until it opened up a little bit. But whatever it is, wherever you go, remove the idea that you're going there as a female. You are going there as a person to do a job, to become good and confident in whatever career it is that you are going to do. If you enter into any field at all, thinking about this with your gender, you being female as being part of it, there is a whole load of stress and problems you are going to put for your own self before other people put it on you. So really, when you are choosing a career, just decide on the career you want to do and go forth. Push anybody who is standing in your way out of the way, and just go for it. And when you go into it, don't think about it as a gender element of it. So go for it. You want to do it, go for it. I know this for a fact. As I'll give you one example. I met a female who had trained as an engineer. She had graduated as an engineer just a few years ago. So I met her. She was doing a part-time job. She had worked as an engineer in another company. So at that time I asked her, why did you leave that company and now you're out of job? Why did you leave that company? Her answer was, oh, the other engineers don't know how to, I found it difficult. The engineers did not know how to talk to a female. And that's when it struck me that she went there to be an engineer, not to be a female. So you fit into your environment, you become good at it, and then you earn the respect, and they will respect you.
Very true. Yes, very true. I think it's a mindset when we go into a profession or any career. When we want to excel, we have to do same amount of work as the men. There's no excuses actually. So it depends on your energy level, your strength of mind. I totally agree with you. Yeah, just go for it. If you feel you can do it.
I would just say one thing. Women being women, we usually do more than the men.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we are great handling details. Sorry, guys. Okay, now to our third speaker, Kumada. Are you with us, Kumada?
Yes, I'm with you guys.
Okay, so I just have this, someone posed this question actually. What was your biggest challenge in the early years of your career and how did you handle it?
Okay, I have a big challenge when I was joining in the army. So when I was a civilian and I tried to going into an army phase life, you have to undergo a lot of training, especially physical training. And as a woman, you don't have the strength that the male have. So one of the biggest challenge that I face is I have to a long march for 21 kilometers with my bag and weapons.
Oh, wow.
So I have carried about 50 kilo of the backpack and the weapon itself. So I have to march for 21 kilometers in Podikson. So I have done it and I feel proud of myself. At the first, I was like to give up, but because it's a tough thing I've never done in my life. So when I do it, and some people will say to me, you just stop it at here, you don't finish it in 21 kilometers, you just stop halfway. So I said in my mind that I can do it. If a male can do, why not I? I'm a girl, I'm a female, I'm a male, I'm a female, so why not I can achieve what he does? So I take that as a challenge and I challenge myself and I finish it in 21 kilometers. And that is the biggest challenge I face in my life.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, 21 kilometers, just amazing. A real marathon. Yeah. And I really, admire what all of you do. I know it's not easy, but thank you so much for, rising to the occasion and doing what you have to do, and all the sacrifices you all have to make, Thank you so much. Yeah. And okay, I would like to open to the floor. If anyone has any question in particular, or if just now I saw some questions. Have they been answered? Do you think they have been answered? The committee who is assisting me, are there any particular questions that okay, I see. Geeta Ramachandra, you have raised your hand. Would you like to ask a question, Geeta? Is it to be directed to any particular speaker?
Yes, I would like to direct this to Lieutenant Kumuda. I can relate to your little, your career in the army, because I have a brother who had joined the army and rose to Lieutenant Colonel. All right, wow. He's retired now. Anyway, what is the most important thing that a woman should have in order to join the armed forces?
Okay, first and the foremost, we have to know about the military background as a woman. Usually we have a lot of training, discipline, we have to wake up in the morning, fitness level. They will test all of this when you are joining, especially when you are a female. You sometimes you can't compete with the male because their strength and our strength are totally different. some of the things, some of the training, we can compete with the male. But what I did is I always train myself. I always do some exercise, which I need to improve myself. I always listen to my mom's advice, my parents' advice. They motivate me. Without them, I am not here. I'm nothing. So I always have my peers and my family with me and their supports. So, and yes, I made it to be an officer.
I see 2 hands raised. Okay. Now may I see Michael Anthony?
Yes, that's right.
Michael, yes, you'd like to ask a question. Could you identify, which organization you're with, or
I don't represent any organization per se. Thank you, Ms. Doreen. At the outset, I'd like to thank Lieutenant Kumuda for her service and all the ladies for their inspiring sharings today. It's been very enlightening. I was troubled by one issue, which I wanted to open to the panel generally for anybody to address. And the issue is on this. It is no secret that the 3D jobs, the dirty, the dangerous, and the deadly jobs, women are severely underrepresented in these jobs. I think statistically, I think it's like 8% or something. I don't know the actual figures. But my question is this: in engaging in these jobs, do women be gender neutral, as in I recollect what Ms. Shanti said earlier about her colleague or her acquaintance who basically was there to be an engineer and not to be female, right? So do women take the approach that you be gender neutral, or do you embrace the uniqueness of your femininity and engage in these jobs in that way? And example of that is, as Lieutenant Kumuda put earlier, is how the civilians react differently to female peacekeepers as opposed to male keepers, peacekeepers. Therefore, there's a uniqueness to being female. So do you be gender neutral in approaching these 3D jobs, or do you embrace what is unique about being feminine and go about it that way? So that's just a general question I have to the panel.
Anyone of are you directing this question to anyone in particular or in general?
No, general. Anybody. I would be. I would appreciate any input.
Okay. Do any one of our 3 speakers like to answer, or can I?
I can just add answer a little bit to that.
Shanti.
We when we go anywhere, we would be female as well. It's a part of us, right? So you shouldn't deny your femaleness. You shouldn't deny how feminine or how masculine you may be as a female, right? So all of us have that element of femininity and masculinity in us. Embrace whoever it is you are. I mean, in whichever way you are. Some people may be very much stronger. Some may be mid-range strength. So you embrace to whatever level you have. Call out for help, because I have found that people are there willing to help and cooperate with you. And don't get me wrong, right? It was never that I was never a female. I was very much a female. I enjoyed that element of it as well, the laughing, the joking, the interaction as a female with all my male colleagues. Being the only female enabled me to, in some ways, take on a little bit of influencing role, because the feminine influence in the group, I was the only one who brought in the feminine influence in the group, channel them in a certain way. So I do agree with you. You embrace your feminineness, but you must not go into an environment and make the fact that you are female up front and center. You are going into an environment, you're going into a job that is the 3Ds, as you say, then you have to embrace that. You must be willing to get dirty. You must be willing to handle as much as you can handle. You cannot be capable of handling 70% of the work and then only want to do 20% of the work because the rest of it doesn't quite appeal to you or things like that. If you can't handle it, that's a different thing. If you can't handle some elements of it and you're calling for help, that's a different thing. And let me tell you, males also call for help. So I hope that sort of addresses it. You don't deny your femininity, but you don't make that up front and center.
Thank you, Shanti.
Thank you.
And Mr. Michael Anthony, I think when it comes to 3D, in the at the home front, mothers and grandmothers are all handling 3D jobs. We are all handling 3D jobs. Very dangerous sometimes. Thank you. And I think now I know we have several hands. It's getting so interesting. Now, is there any? Let me see. Who are these?
There is one hand from Millie Tan.
Okay,
Can we just get her the last question before we?
Yeah. Millie, we open to one last question because we have to end shortly. Yeah. Millie, would you like to?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Millie. And what is your question, Millie?
The question is to the young lady, to Lieutenant Kumuta.
Yes.
Very young. How young is she? And she's so courageous.
I think
I just answered the question. 29 years old. Yesterday we just checked that out for her.
Yes.
Marvelous, marvelous.
Checked.
Well done, girl. Well done.
Okay, thank you. You know, and
but probably I would like to add one more thing about Kumuda. She had to leave her. She had to leave her husband after 1 month of a marriage when she was actually sent off on this deployment. So it's really sad, but she's very happy. I can see the smile all over her face. That explains how committed she is to her job. Thank you.
Is Kumuta's husband tuned in today? I'm just wondering. Okay, so with that, we really would like to extend further for further questions, but it's been so interesting. But time flies and it's already past 9, and so I would like now to introduce someone whom I've known for since she was a little girl, actually. So she is going to do the closing. Now, Dr. Mala Veli Sugarmuti is a doctor by profession, a medical doctor in the field of public health. She was previously a senior principal assistant director in the planning division of MOH, and currently she's pursuing her PhD in the field of public health. Yeah, and serving in the Sathya International Organization of Malaysia as the National Women's Wing Coordinator. And before this, she was also very active in the Young Adult Wing of Sathya International Organization of Malaysia at the state and national level. Yeah, and she's very passionate about the well-being, palliative care, and public health. And she's also very keen in public speaking, having won the first runner-up in the National Public Speaking Competition for civil servants, in 2017. So with that, I do see a hand still raised. Sister Gita, you have asked your question, right? Thank you.
Yes, I have. Sorry.
Yes. So without further ado, can we welcome Dr. Mala Veli?
Hi, good evening, and thank you, Auntie Doreen. I fondly address her as Auntie Doreen. She's mentioned earlier. She's known me since I was a child. thank you to the Sathya International Organization of Malaysia and the Soroptimist Club of Bangsar for giving me the opportunity to address such an amazing crowd today. First of all, a big round of applause to the amazing speakers, Lieutenant Kumuda, Ms. Shanti, and Ms. Kesha. I'm amazed with what women can do. But a lot has been spoken about inequality, gender inequality. Being in the field of public health, we are always trained to look at inequity. And that's something that we should not leave behind when we speak about women rising up, women being empowered. We should not stop looking into inequity among women. Now, most of us may feel that being women, we are often oppressed by the opposite gender. The males often do not give us an opportunity to rise and grow equally. But how many of us, among us as women, are open enough to allow women to grow, women in our own circle? So I think that's one more thing which is very important that we should address in conjunction of this Women's Day, because women should be there to straighten each other's crown without having to announce it to the rest of the world. So among us itself, we do have some level of inequity whereby if we look into that and we correct that, we can ensure women rise up to greater heights. So you can see that most of us, how open are we to cheering the women around us for their equal capabilities? We often raise questions like, oh, you are too inexperienced for this. Do you have enough knowledge for this? Do you have enough background for this? Do you think you can do this as well as me? Oh, she's like this, she's like that. So we do have a lot of inequity among women itself. So women are empowered beings. They do not need empowerment, but they just need to be recognized for how powerful they are. Whether or not they are in a field which is very extravagantly striking, every woman, even from the kitchen up to international levels, wherever they stand, they face challenges. And we must be open to cheer for them, no matter what situation they are in. It's not only when they break barriers, when they make it to the headlines that we should celebrate a woman, but we should celebrate women who are around us, who is among us, and help her climb the ladder. So I hope I said something out of the topics that were discussed earlier, which was very beneficial. I was just saying that this should also be added into our spectrum of what we call about empowering women. With that, thank you very much once again, wishing all of you a beautiful Women's Day, and thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.